Hey everybody, it's Brian Nemhauser here at Gillette Stadium in the press box doing a probably pretty brief pregame show and a little bit quieter because I got to keep my voice down for the Seahawks versus the Patriots. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at HawkBlogger. Hopefully you guys are able to hear me okay, but I'm going to try to keep my voice down. So we're still pretty early. It's what time is it now? It's 11 o'clock, so we got a couple hours till game time. You know, folks just filtering in. We'll get inactives here in a little bit. We'll talk about those when they happen. But, beautiful stadium here. I've been here before. Last time I was here was 2016 for the infamous or famous, I guess, for us, C.J. Prosise game. His best game probably as a pro. And, that LOB got a little small measure of revenge with that victory in that game. I think that was the only game the Patriots lost that year, if I remember correctly, or something along those lines. It was one of the only games that they lost. It's always interesting here because I've got family back in Boston, so I've been coming to Boston since I was born. And that was well before the Patriots were good. They were a joke of a franchise for so many years. Steve Grogan and, no offense to Hugh, but, Hugh Millen, they were not a winning franchise. They certainly did not have a great history of winning. And that changed with Tom Brady, with, Bill Parcells, with Bill Belichick. And the fan base just changed dramatically, and they've got so many Super Bowls now. It's bougie. They don't know what to do with them. I think fans I've talked to here are still trying to figure out exactly how to feel about this new Patriots team, which for the first time in a while is not that good, hasn't been that good since Tom Brady left. And I think Boston fans don't mess around. They're not going to just accept being a mediocre or bad team. And I've talked to some folks that haven't been to a game for a while because they've been looking for a reason to come back to the Patriots. And they gave them a pretty good start in week one with how they handled the Bengals. And I think there's some cautious optimism, but I don't think anybody's out over their skis. I do think they feel like this is a winnable game. I think they feel confident that this is a game that they can win. And I don't know what the latest line is. Last time I checked, the Seahawks had I think a 3.5 point edge. I think it's going to be a neck and neck game. Really going to come down to whether the Seahawks can stop the run, but also if the Seahawks are able to pass the ball. And I think that's going to be something that we're going to get a pretty good read on early on. I think Ryan Grubb exited last game with a lot of confidence, despite the fact that things didn't go that well. We'll see. I mean, they lifted McClendon Curtis off of the practice squad. I'm curious to see if he is the backup at right tackle. Still expect Stone Forsythe to be the starter there. Greg Bell had tweeted something about Mike Jarrell playing. I would be surprised if Mike Jarrell is playing, but we'll see. I mean, it would be exciting if they thought he was ready, but I think he's probably not. It wouldn't even surprise me if McClendon Curtis was the backup in this game as opposed to Mike Jarrell, even though Jarrell is part of the roster. Meaning, I think that they're protecting Jarrell and Sataola Lomea from waivers as opposed to literally believing that they are the guys that need to be, ready to back up right now. Beautiful day here. Weather's gorgeous, 80, high 70s. It'll be by game time. Sunny, clear skies. And as far as just taking you behind the scenes, I mean, cool experience, to come into the stadium. You park in the media parking lot. You take a little shuttle in and get all your stuff checked out. And there's other NFL media. Talk to people that were in Brazil and for the game down there. You talk to people that cover different parts of the league, and so it's cool to just meet different people. And then after going through security and coming up here, you gotta go through like multiple lines of security. You've got bomb sniffing dogs. You got like the whole thing. They obviously take that pretty seriously. And then I was looking forward to seeing the spread, the buffet. It was. I mean, I don't want to be a not a less than gracious guest. It was not quite exactly what I expected. So we'll see. The day's still young. We'll see how it changes over time, but it's pretty amazing. I was told that the press box here had a bad view, but I think it's fantastic. Got a great view of the field, and have a nice opportunity to see the game. So I'll be able to cover that. I will be hosting the chat party during the game. I will not be reacting to plays until I see you guys reacting to plays. So I'll be delayed, but I will be in there with you guys. I'll help moderate. So hopefully if we have spammers and stuff like that, we can work together on keeping that under control. But sorry, I just saw Dave Pearson and the crew roll in. So folks are coming in. Mike Dugar absolutely killing the wardrobe. I cannot hold a candle to Mike in that regard. He's got the swag. But I saw on the field, Laviska Shenault, I think was the first player I saw on the field this morning working out. Saw Jake Peets, the passing game coordinator that came over from the Rams, out early doing some jogging and working with the players. Brady Russell's out there without his shirt on as usual, doing his thing. I think he'll have a pretty big role in this game. I think Brady Russell's a guy that could play fullback today. He could play tight end today. I think it wouldn't surprise me if they go a little heavy today in their personnel. AJ Barner is going to get another chance with Pharaoh Brown out. He had a really good first game. We'll see how that translates into this week. Defensively, just keep in mind that the Patriots ran heavy formations more than any other team in the NFL in their first week. They brought an extra eligible lineman out to help on run blocking. And this is a team that had some weird stuff go on. Their left tackle, Okorafor, I think is his last name, he was benched after 6 snaps or 10 snaps or whatever it was, did not come back in the game, and then was put on the leave list yesterday, which meant they don't expect him to come back. He's just gone. So there's the guy that was their starting left tackle a few snaps into the season, just gone. So they're going to play, I think it's Vidarian Lowe. I can't remember his first name exactly, but at left tackle, their left guard is also out injured in this game. So they're going to play a practice squad player. Michael Jordan is being elevated. Not that Michael Jordan, a different Michael Jordan. And this is the left side of their line, their backup left tackle and a practice squad left guard. You have to think the Seahawks are going to try to attack that part of the line and make them hold up. The Bengals had Sam Hubbard and Trey Hendrickson, so obviously they, have some really talented edges. The Seahawks have interior defenders that I think are much different and much better than what the Bengals have to offer. So you have to think that the Patriots are going to be a little bit overmatched with the Seahawks defensive line. This is a game where that part of the defense, I think, needs to take over in a way that I know there were some great moments, but I think that they need even more of that in this game. And I think they need to be more disruptive, and I think this could be a big Byron Murphy game. Like, I'd love to see him get his hands on Ramondre Stevenson, the running back, and shed some blocks. I think everyone wants to see the pass rush, and sure, that's certainly a big part of it. But I think being able to disrupt and penetrate into the backfield is going to be a big part of how you keep a guy like Stevenson from getting enough momentum to break the tackles, to get downfield. And so you really want to see this team penetrate that way. Have not seen yet about, again, I assume that Tyrell Dodson and Jerome Baker are going to play in this game. If they don't, or if they get injured again, we could see Tyrese Knight for the first time. Tyrese Knight could get some snaps in this game. They might do it anyway, but I think that's going to be another thing to keep an eye on is linebackers. When there's players that are questionable, even if they start the game, that doesn't always mean that they finish. So this is something to monitor. Tyrese Knight, Drake Thomas, those are guys that you may see on the field at some point today. And if that happens, the Seahawks are going to have to, account for that and accommodate that. I think, thankfully, Tyrese Knight looked far more ready to play in the NFL than I expected, and I think almost anyone expected. Excellent tackler, excellent run defender, and this could be a good game for him to get his feet wet if he has to. Obviously, it would be ideal if just Dodson and Baker were available for the full game, but, that's just the reality. As far as the passing attack, I think the bigger thing to be aware of is Jacoby Brissett will take what the defense gives. He'll take a lot of the underneath throws, but he'll also take off. So I think the Seahawks have to be ready to handle, Jacoby Brissett's legs, which is not what everybody would think about with Jacoby Brissett. I know Mike McDonald, he talked about that earlier this week. He understands that is an issue, but they don't really, for the second straight week, I don't think they really have to worry a lot about deep passes. And so, I think the chance to keep kind of a lot of guys underneath should help against, even a scrambling Jacoby Brissett. Otherwise, things to watch out, D. Williams, I posted the interview I did with him on patreon.com/hawkblogger. And, I talked to him in the locker room this week, and he really, really rough start for that kid. And now he's going to be on the road, and these fans don't know that he had that kind of game, but he does. And I think having the chance to redeem himself today, what you hope for is that he doesn't try to prove himself. Job one is just catch the ball. Catch the ball, fair catch it, whatever. Make good choices about that. If he can get a chance to return it, then hold the ball tight, because the other thing that can happen is you get that little relaxation, that exhale when you actually secure the ball. You get to start your return, and then you forget to, protect it. And so I just want to make sure. I really like that kid. I really think he has the potential to be a big add to this team. I think he can create a factor in the return game that we just haven't seen for a long time. But he's got to get his confidence, and he's got to do that by catching the ball, and ideally by getting his first dynamic return. And I think he's really capable of that. So, I'm cheering for him to have a kind of redemption story in this game. Other things, obviously, I don't expect to see Kenneth Walker. The team elevated George Holani, and so I think we're going to see a lot of Zach Charbonnet. I think we'll see some Kenny McIntosh for the first time, his first career game in the NFL. He's had some preseason games this year, but he was out all last season injured, so this will be his first chance to touch the ball. There's some chance that Holani will be out there, but most likely we're talking about Charbonnet and Kenny McIntosh. What else? So, one of the things that I'm really curious about is the DK Metcalf performance today. This was a situation where he didn't have the game he wanted in that first matchup, and, storylines already, Patrick Surtain shut him down. Fine. That's personally not how I see it. DK dropped a pass that I think he should catch and will catch. And I know this is coming from someone who has been critical of his ability to secure contested catches. I'm just telling you what I've seen. All training camp tells me that there's a difference there. So I do expect him to make those catches. I also think the pass protection and the game script kept him from being a bigger factor. So, whatever. The narrative's going to be what it's going to be. He now goes up against Christian Gonzalez, who's another very talented corner. Doesn't have the reputation that Surtain does, but drafted very high and thought to be like their best cover corner. If DK Metcalf can be the factor that he needs to be, where they don't have an idea of how to stop him, then I think that the Seahawks offense has a totally different type of day today. And the Patriots have been able to get away with a lot of man coverage. Geno does particularly well against man coverage. DK is a guy that if he gets a chance to go up one-on-one with anybody, Geno's going to like that matchup, and so is DK. I think there's also a chance for JSN to have more space, more room to get open than he has previously. So I think we've got to collectively think about and take a deep breath about, all right, last week was last week, the pass protection what it was, but how is this team going to protect today? How are they going to pass the ball today? Because if they are as limited passing as they were last week, then this is going to be a tight game. If they start showing some rhythm in the passing game, then this could be a much more comfortable game than I think most people are anticipating. So I really think everyone's going to talk about the run game. I think the pass game is the key to this game for the Seahawks, and I think the run game is the key for the Patriots on offense. So it's a really interesting matchup. Like I think this is a really good first matchup, and one that both teams have reason to think that they can get. But man, Chris is looking sharp, dude. Loving the fit. Yeah, dude. So I mean, it's NFL football. Week 2, you're going to learn a lot about your team. It's like one of the fun parts of this part of the season is, even though we have a game under our belts, we're still learning about who this team is, who these guys are. Who's Ryan Grubb? Who's Mike McDonald? Are these the guys that we hope they are going to be? We have some reason to believe they are, but this is another proven ground for them. And so really, really eager to see how both of those coaches attack their opponent today. And, I think that they pretty thoroughly outcoached Sean Payton last week. This is a new challenge, new group, new makeup, and we'll see what goes on from there. I think those are the main things. I was hoping to get a guest on here, one of the interns, Annabelle, who happens to live in Boston, and she's out here today. If I can find a chance to get her on, I'd love to, because she's been awesome and really cool person, and would love to get. I think she's doing. It's called Nesson out here, New England Sports Network. So she just graduated Boston College recently, and want to get her on a Seahawks pod before she gets too sucked into all the Boston stuff. But yeah, I'm curious if anyone has any questions. I'm going to scroll through chat to see because like I said, I'm going to make this pretty brief. I am going to have the chat going on during the game. I'll help monitor it. As I said earlier, I'll only be reacting once people have posted in chat. I will not be kind of play-by-play because that's not allowed. But I will be participating and trying to monitor. And then I will do a post-game show. The post-game show timing is TBD because it can take a few hours after the game to get through all the press conferences. And then I'm hoping to do the post-game show from the field, which would be, tell me that wouldn't be cool. That would be fun. I see folks saying, there's a bunch of folks that have said they were hoping to meet today. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. I might. I mean, I've got a little bit of time. I've been working on an article, so I'm going to try to finish that up. If I have a chance, I will try to figure out how I can get down to where I can meet somebody. Since I don't have access to the field, I don't even know if I have access to the stadium. I just don't know how I would find people, but if I can, I'll let people know. In any event, I think I'm going to kind of wrap there, folks. Oh, I get a question from Tyler. It says, who do you want to ball out? Who do I want to ball out? Two guys. I'll give you one on offense, one on defense. DK on offense, I just think him ascending to the player that I think he should be is absolutely essential for this offense to be dangerous. If he is just the guy he's been throughout his career, the offense is going to be less interesting. It just is. I think that he has the potential to really take his game to a new level, and so I'd love to see it start today. On defense, Byron Murphy. I think this game sets up well for him to, be a disruptive force. I'd love to see that come to the forefront. I see a question here about are Baker and Dodson playing today? I don't think inactives have come out yet. I think they'll be out maybe about 10 minutes. I'm not sure, but I think that's about right. I'll let you know, but I think that they are playing. And I see a question here. Didn't we have pretty good record for East Coast 10 a.m. games? We did under Pete Carroll. And one of the cool things with Mike McDonald is he has learned as much as he can about what worked for Pete Carroll. He brought in a sleep specialist. Sleep is a big part of it. They're staying on West Coast time, to kind of keep their rhythms on point. But we'll see how it actually translates in a little while here. Isaiah says, are you going to close your eyes during the Super Bowl celebration before the game? I think that's happening at halftime. No, here's the thing. People are going to say this is sour grapes, but this is how I feel. Yes, the Seahawks lost that Super Bowl. Yes, the Patriots get that ring. They get to claim dominance, all that stuff. I was at that game. That game, to me, proved the Seahawks were a significantly better team than the Patriots. Even with all the injuries that the Seahawks suffered before that game, during that game, the Seahawks still should have won. They were a yard away, a play call away from winning that game. If they had their full arsenal of, not even close to full, if they just had one less injury, maybe not to Cliff Averill or not to Cam Chancellor or not to Richard Sherman or Earl Thomas or, Jeremy Lane or on and on and on. I don't know that game even comes down to a play at the 1 yard line. So, people can feel however they want to feel about it, but I don't think that game proved that they were better than Seattle. But they get to walk away with the ring, and they made a great play at the end, and that's how things work. It's rough, but we go on from there. All right, folks, if you haven't given the show a like and click subscribe, please do. I'd really appreciate it. Make sure you check out YouTube memberships over also at patreon.com/hawkblogger. Had a lot of folks joining there. Would love to get more folks join in. Would appreciate it. And I will see you all in the chat party, assuming you're going to join there. So see you in a bit. Take care. I'm Brian Nemhauser. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at hawkblogger. This has been episode 175 of Hawk Blogger Mornings.